Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in a large valley, there lived a little girl named Maya. She was a bright and curious child, always eager to learn and explore the world around her. Her parents were kind and loving, and they doted on their only child. However, they were very strict and expected Maya to follow their rules and instructions without question. One day, Maya came home from school with a drawing she had made in her art class. She was very proud of her work and couldn't wait to show her parents. But when she presented the drawing to them, they were less than impressed. "What is this?" her father asked, frowning at the page. "This is not how you are supposed to hold your pencil, and your lines are crooked. You need to practice more." Maya's face fell as she listened to her father's criticism. She had tried her best, and she didn't understand why he wasn't happy with her. "I am sorry," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I will try harder next time." But her father's harsh words continued. "You are always making mistakes," he said. "You never listen to us. You are lazy and careless." Maya's mother joined in, scolding her for not paying attention to details and for not being more diligent in her studies. Maya felt overwhelmed and defenseless. She didn't know how to make her parents happy, no matter how hard she tried. As the days went by, Maya's parents' constant criticism and scolding took a toll on her. She became withdrawn and isolated, spending most of her time alone in her room. She stopped trying in school and her grades began to suffer. She lost interest in her hobbies and friends, and she started to have nightmares about her parents' disapproval. One day, Maya decided that she had had enough. She couldn't take her parents' scolding and criticism anymore. She wanted to escape from their harsh words and find some peace and happiness. And so, she came up with a plan. Maya waited until her parents were asleep, and then she crept into their room. She picked up a heavy vase from the beside table and approached her father, who was snoring lightly. Without hesitation, she raised the vase and brought it down hard on his head. Her father let out a groan and convulsed, but he didn't wake up. Maya waited until his breathing became shallow, and then she turned to her mother, who was lying motionless beside him. She did the same thing to her mother, striking her with the vase until she stopped moving. Maya stood there, panting and shaking. As she looked at her parents' lifeless bodies, she felt a strange mix of relief and guilt. She had finally escaped from their scolding, but at what cost? As the days turned into weeks, Maya tried to pretend that nothing had happened. She went through the motions of her daily life, but she couldn't shake off the feelings of dread that had settled in her heart. She knew that she had done something terrible and she couldn't undo it. But one day, the police came to her house, responding to a call from a neighbor who had noticed something suspicious. Maya was arrested and charged with the murder of her parents. At the trial, Maya's lawyer argued that she had acted out of self-defense, that her parents' constant scolding and criticism has driven her to the breaking point. They presented evidence of Maya's deteriorating mental health and her desperation to escape from her parents' control. But the prosecution painted a different picture. They argued that Maya was a cold and calculating killer, that she had planned the murder meticulously and had shown no remorse for her actions. They pointed to the lack of her physical evidence of abuse or mistreatment, and they questioned Maya's motives and credibility. In the end, the jury was left to weigh the evidence and decide Maya's fate. They deliberated for hours, trying to make sense of the complex and tragic case. And in the end, they reached a verdict. Maya was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. As she was laid away in handcuffs, she looked back at the courtroom, her face a mask of numbness and despair. She knew that she would have to live with the consequences of her actions for the rest of her life. And so, Maya's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of excessive criticism and scolding. While it is important to correct children's mistakes and help them grow and learn, it is also crucial to do so with kindness, compassion, and understanding. For in the end, words can hurt just as much as physical violence, and their impact can last a lifetime. The end.